Hey everybody. Hello and welcome to the Stuff I Heard podcast. This is your host Joshua Peak. Hi. Today is December the 19th, 2018. We're getting very close to Christmas. Very close. Less than a week away. What have you got for Christmas? What have you got planned? Do you have a big surprise scheduled? Do you have something that you're like, oh, I can't wait till my kid gets to open this, or I can't wait till my wife gets this, or oh boy, wouldn't my dad be surprised if he knew I got him this? What is it? What is the thing that you've done? I think back to Christmases over the years, and I've not always been a great Christmas buyer, because a lot of times I think, well, I don't know what size they wear, I don't know what their favorite color is, I don't know what kind of perfume they wear, I don't know what their favorite blah 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 is. And most guys are like that. Most guys are like, yeah, I don't know. I'd get you whatever I could if I knew what you wanted, but I mean, sometimes money's an issue. I remember being very broke and not being able to buy anybody anything. And weirdly enough, that's when I came up with some of my best presents, because it would be me paying attention during the year about all the things that we wanted, but just never got around to getting. And, you know, as you get older and you're able to do things for one another, you're able to buy pretty much whatever you want, whenever you want. You go, yeah, do we really need to buy stuff? I mean, that's kind of one of the things about Christmas that my wife and I have sort of grown into. We've grown into a season in our life where we don't really need to buy each other presents, because, you know, if we go on vacation and we see something we want, we go like, hey, I want to get that. You're like, yeah, okay. But also, we don't make like huge purchases either. We don't go out and buy new boats and, you know, ridiculous amounts of jewelry and, you know, craziness just at a whim. If we make a big purchase, we talk about it as a couple and we decide on it, and we make the purchase then. But for little stuff, you know, for little here, you know, everyday type stuff, if we need something, we pretty much just get it. That's a luxury of being an older person in a relationship and saving money properly and all that other stuff, which I talked about in the last episode. I talked a lot about the Dave Ramsey plan and all that stuff. And that's not really a shocker. I mean, for a lot of people, that's really not a big deal. But I remember being young, and I remember not really understanding how money works, and, you know, the fact that my mom would often tell me, you know, hey, we need to go buy, you know, presents for your, you know, stepdad, or for your dad, or for your grandparents. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what to get them. And, you know, I wouldn't know. I really wouldn't know. I wouldn't, you know, what do you get an adult when you're a kid? I don't know. As you become adults, you go, what would I get you? I still don't know. I don't know. But I know what to get kids. Here's the thing. I think most guys have this in them. They know what kids want because it's what they want. It's like, what would I want if I were a kid, if I were this kid? And you can kind of put yourself in that kid's shoes and go, you know, what would really be cool at that age is XYZ, whatever it is. You know, for a young boy, it might be a BB gun or a dirt bike, or, you know, some cool action figure or a car, or, you know, well, nowadays a drone, or, you know, some recording ability with something, or a video game, or, you know, you never know. I mean, that's just it. The times are changing. Like, the things you can get now are readily available. It used to be you'd go to the store and you'd walk up and down the aisles and you go, I wonder what I could get. And then you'd see something on the shelf and you're like, well, this is the only place I've seen that. Of course, that's the only store you've been to. But that would be your decision. You'd be like, well, I saw it, I'm getting it. And you'd go with that. Nowadays you have the internet, and you can literally peruse anything that's out there for sale and buy it. I mean, it's all available. I gotta adjust myself here. Let me move. I'm gonna kick back, kick my legs up. For those watching on the YouTube, I'm kicking way back in my chair. For those of you at home, it doesn't sound any different because I have this cool microphone that can move. I just moved it back with me so I can lean back. But anyway, you know, a thought came to me that, you know, I remember back when my sister was little and I had started working one of my first jobs, making money. I thought, you know, what I really want to do is I want to give my sister something cool for Christmas. Something that I know that she's not getting. And there was a particular Christmas where she had some Barbie stuff, and you know, she was like, I kind of want the Barbie house and the Barbie car and the Barbie blah 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 blah, you know. And the thing about getting a girl into Barbies is there's an endless option of things that you could purchase for a girl. And nowadays you can't even say that because everyone's so gender conscious of, you know, well, my Stevie plays with Barbies because we're teaching him that it's okay. Listen, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with little boys playing with Barbies. I played with Barbies with my sister because that was our trade-off. She played G.I. Joes with me, and I played Barbies with her. She'd teach, I'd teach her how to fight battles, and she would teach me how somebody likes to have her hair and dress before she goes out on a dinner plan. There's nothing wrong with that. It was the trade-off that we had because we had each other to play with on a rainy day when, nothing much was going on, and my friends were busy doing something else because I was older. I'd go, hey, you want to play? And I'd play whatever she wanted to play for a while, and I'd convince her to play what I want to play. That's cooperation. That's teamwork. That's, being a good brother, I guess. But I remember one particular Christmas, she was supposedly getting a Barbie house. And I remember working and making my own money and going to the store and picking out the Barbie Ferrari. Does anybody remember the Barbie Ferrari? Well, I do. Because I bought her the Barbie Ferrari. It was either the Ferrari or the Vet. It was a red car. That's all I know. It was a red car. And it was cool. And I was particularly proud of myself for getting this. And I got it for her. And she loved it and played with it and had a good time with it. And, I had more fun giving it to her, though. That was part of the joy. And over the years of raising 3 boys, I've given them lots of presents that I thought, oh boy, they're really going to enjoy this. And what I've learned is there is a weird thing in life where you have to enjoy the giving process more than their enjoyment of the gift. Because a lot of times they don't enjoy the gift. A lot of the times it's not what they envisioned. It's not what they wanted. And it's hard to match people's anticipation. Or their expectations, I should say. And it's weird because you're in a season of giving and receiving gifts. And in a weird way, you don't want to be thankless because somebody did think about you enough to do something. But at the same time, you sort of wonder, is it out of obligation, or is it out of the kindness of their heart, or is it out of, a misconstrued idea of who you are? I'll give you an example. One year for Christmas, I had 2 cousins who were big time into wrestling, and they got me into watching wrestling. And at the time, Michael Jackson was a big star on TV. And for some reason, my mom thought it would be a great idea to tell my aunt that I really liked Michael Jackson, and anything she'd give me Michael Jackson would be cool. So one year for Christmas, the 3 of us got red leather, sleeveless Michael Jackson leather vests with all the studs and crap on it and the zippers and I hated that thing. I hated it. Matter of fact, my mom is convinced that I loved it and that I wore it all the time, even though I didn't. I wore it for pictures and then that was it. I did not want it. I was more into, I wanted to be cool. And Michael Jackson, while he was cool breakdancing and doing his moonwalk on TV, I didn't look like Michael Jackson, nor did I want to dress like Michael Jackson, or, I'll be honest, I did want to dance like Michael Jackson, but I knew I couldn't. But that was the extent of it. And all 3 of us got these jackets, and I don't think any of us wore those jackets not one time, except for pictures. We wore them for pictures and thank Aunt Lily, because Aunt Lily was a kind lady. And to be honest, she probably just said, hey, what would the boys like? And my mom or a group of mothers between us all told her, oh, you know what the boys would like? They really like Michael Jackson. How about one of those Michael Jackson sleeveless jacket things with the zippers and the buttons and the... Listen, we all make mistakes. I get that. And sometimes parents are out of touch with their kids a lot, especially when it comes to fashion. Let's face it, the 80s were not kind when it comes to fashion. Just look back at look back at the photos, okay? There's lots of photos about 80s hairdos and 80s clothing where spandex and lycra and Velcro were suddenly the craze, and people went a little nuts, okay? Women's shoulder pads got huge. I mean, they look like football shoulder pads. I got to joke around with my wife when we were going through our closet one day a couple years ago. She still had some outfits from the 80s, and she's like, yeah, but I still fit in them. I was like, yeah, but they don't fit now. I was like, if you put that on, people are going to ask you where your DeLorean is, and, it doesn't work. It's outdated, is all I'm saying. So, we got through it, though. And I don't know that Aunt Lily knew that it wasn't something we cared for. And I would never want her to know that I didn't care for it. But I tried to express that to my mom, and it just falls on deaf ears. She's like, but you loved it. No, I didn't. I didn't love it. I didn't love it. But we all come across stuff like that. We all do stuff for people at times, and we think, oh, they'll love this. And they don't. So, gifts is one of those things that you have to, as a giver, like I was saying, you have to enjoy the process of giving. And realize that once you give it, that's it. That's the end of the conversation. That's the end of the exchange. You go, here's something I got for you. From that point on, it's up to that person what they do with it. I mean, let's be honest. If I gave somebody a jacket, for instance, and they took the jacket and were like, oh, well, thank you, and I never saw them in the jacket again, I would not take it personal. If they immediately took it off and went, yeah, this is just not my color, do you happen to have the receipt? I'd like to exchange it for a different color. I'd be like, oh, yeah, sure. I'd love to do that. If they took it home and immediately put it on the internet for sale, I'd go, well, okay, I guess they didn't like the jacket. And they probably didn't. But the exchange of here is a gift pretty much is the end of the exchange. Now you would like to think that someone getting a gift would at least say thank you. Thank you, that was very thoughtful. Or was it? Or was it? Did they just have an extra jacket laying around? They were like, hey, I got this jacket laying around that cousin so-and-so gave me, and I just hate this color. Oh, I know what I'll do. I never took the tags off of it. I'll give it to so-and-so. Yeah, that'll be it. And then it'll be out of my life. Ha, ha, ha. Now, what if your cousin that gave it to you found out that you regifted it to somebody else? And is that okay? Are people okay with regifting? It's kind of a neat question. See, I'm sitting here with my co-host that says nothing. Hi, co-host. And what would my co-host say? I don't know because I don't have one. I just have to keep this ball rolling, as though you were sitting here in the room with me having a conversation, a back and forth, if you will. But I'm the one that has to do the back and forth. So, you get what you get. If you don't like the narrative, hey, get your own narrative. I've made podcasts where I talk about making your own podcast. Anybody can do it, even me. And, here's my opportunity to talk. So, I am. I am going through a couple of things in my garage that I'm trying to get rid of just to make some space and to hopefully start up new projects that I can't quite afford. I've talked before about possibly, well, I don't know if I've actually talked about that, so let's wait. I have recently decided that I'm going to sell one of my grills. I've got 3 grills. That's to me too much. I want to keep my charbroil 3-in-1 infrared bullet cooker thing, because it still does great, and it's only me and my wife most of the time, and it's perfect for 2 people. It's gas, it's propane, and I have propane tanks, which is fine. I'm going to keep that one, and I'm going to obviously keep the brand new one because I'm cooking on it all the time. Remind me to tell you guys about the brisket I cooked this weekend. Holy cow. 22-pound brisket. Maybe I talked about it last podcast. Did I talk about it last? See, this is where I need you guys to give me some information and be like, yeah, Josh, you already talked about that. Okay, cool. If I haven't, I'm telling you again. Last weekend I cooked a 22-pound beef brisket on the Grill Silverback pellet grill, and it was amazing. It was so amazing. But anyway, the grill I'm getting rid of is my Phoenix grill. Now, I got this Phoenix grill a long time ago as a gift from my stepdad. And it's been a wonderful grill. It's been great. But it's also one that I don't use anymore. It's good for cooking for a lot of people. I bought a new porcelain grill top on it so that nothing sticks to it anymore. I had a metal one that had rusted out and I got rid of it. But the porcelain works great. It's got the indirect heat with like a pan underneath that's at an angle, so the flames never actually touch the food. The grease drops onto the pan and drips down into a little drip holder thing. It's like a pail underneath that catches it. And the grill works great. I've had it for a long time. I've gotten a lot of use out of it. I just decided it was time to sell it. Now, I looked these things up online, and for years they didn't even have a website, but now they do. And it turns out that the one I have is about $1,000, which I got it a long time ago. There's no telling how much it was when he actually bought it. Thank you, by the way, Dan. That was an awesome, awesome, awesome present. And I have gotten a ton of use out of it. But it's also something I don't need anymore. And I feel like I could pass it along to somebody else who would enjoy it at a decent price. So I put it on Facebook, one of those for sale by me pages, you know, local, Florence, South Carolina, blah, blah, blah. I put it on there for $300 and let it sit there for a good week, and I didn't get the first little blip of anything. And I thought about it for a while, and I thought, you know, for $300, somebody could just go buy a new grill. Why am I charging? Why am I asking for $300? Because I know people are going to talk me down. And I thought, well, why don't I just go ahead and offer it for half that, just $150? See what happens. $150. It's a $1,000 grill for $150. Now, granted, it does look like it has some use, but I cleaned it up this past weekend. I was able to scrape out all the inside and take a vacuum to it, a shop vac, and I vacuumed out all the little, you know, chunks of this and that everywhere. And I even straightened out some metal that was on the bottom that had a slight little bend in it. And I put a coat of paint on the bottom just because there was some spots that paint had come off. It's stainless steel, so it'll never rust out. And, you know, it's an opportunity for somebody to get something really nice at a decent price. And I figure if somebody offers me a little bit less, then I'd probably take that too. But, you know, the idea is I just need to make some room. That needs to go. There's a couple other things that need to go. I've got a chop saw that belonged to my Granddaddy Peak that I used to use a lot, but then I realized I don't actually use it all. At a certain point, I don't know how many years ago, I kind of set it in the corner, and I've not needed to use it, not once. And I thought, you know, here's a perfectly good miter saw that's just sitting there that's, you know, 10-inch blade that I'm not using. It's on a nice metal stand that he put it on years ago. And, you know, somebody can enjoy it. Somebody other than me. So I figured, why not go ahead and sell it? So I got it on that same Facebook page for, I think, $40. Because, you know, you could spend a little bit more and get a brand new one. Or you could spend $40 and get this classic Craftsman, you know, dependable tool that never fails. But, like, again, it's all in whatever you want. I have a what is it? I gotta look at the picture. I have a welder. I'll be honest, it's not the best welder. It's a beginner welder. It is, the name brand is Campbell Hausfeld, 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 115 flux core welder. 30 to 85 amp output. Now you can plug this into a regular plug-in, like a regular 110 plug-in, and it works fine. It just doesn't weld like I would want to weld. It's a wire feed. I've kind of been spoiled. I got to use an argon gas welder, and if I were to have a welder here at the house or need a welder, that's the kind of what I want to go with. This was an entry-level welder that my dad had bought me to use on the Rambler when I did some welding work repairing metal. And if anybody watches those videos, you can tell that I didn't know what I was doing. And yeah. But I figured, hey, I could offer this up for sale, somebody might buy it, and then that's out of the way and I got room to do something else. You know what I mean? So, that's kind of the mentality. Let's make some room, get rid of some stuff, and go forward. Because, you know, why not? There's the opportunity. I don't really have a price for that yet. I have no idea what to even ask for it. But I'll figure it out and I'll post it on Facebook. So, anywho, that's going on. Christmas is around the corner, like I said. We're looking forward to having get together with some family this weekend and some friends tonight. You know, this time is supposed to be about spending time together. And I look forward to that. Because that's really what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I got to talk about something I'm watching on TV. I know that I've talked often about not having regular TV. I've been watching a show on Amazon called The Marvelous Miss Maisel, and the second season has come out on Amazon, and it is fantastic. I am a comedy fan. I am a fan of comedians. As you guys know, I listen to a lot of comedian podcasts. I listen to Bert Kreischer. Matter of fact, he's got a podcast right now where he's interviewing Tom Green. It is a great interview. It is probably the best interview that I've heard him do. He asks a lot of great questions, and he listens. Which, if you know Bert, that's not really one of his strong suits. It's a great interview. But I listen to him, and I listen to, of course, Tom Segura and Christina Pazsitzky and Joe Rogan and Pete Holmes and Mark Maron and, Joe Coy and all these comedians who have podcasts, and all of them pretty much talk about the same things, about how awkward their sense of humor is around their family and their friends, and how they often say the things that are inappropriate. And all of these things are sort of hinted at in this show about this woman comedian. And it's great. Like, the writing is great, the acting is great. The living in New York and her interaction with Lenny Bruce. I want to say this is back in the, 60s? Early 60s is when this looks like. It's the time period. They don't really say what year it is, but it's just fascinating. The actors who are playing the roles are fascinating. The woman who's playing Miss Maisel, holy cow, she should get an award all the time. The lines she has to deliver and the way she does it is incredible. The first season's all about her becoming a comedian and learning the process and learning what she can do and what she can't do. And the second season is more about her sort of refining that craft and figuring out her life in between that with her family and letting her family even know that she's doing it. Because a lot of families would rather you do anything other than be a comedian. It was not a job that was looked up to until recently. So this dives into a lot of that stuff, a lot of that family drama, and a lot of that personal strife, and somehow you have to overcome adversity. If you're chasing your dream, you have to realize this is what I'm willing to do it. And you got to do that, because you only get one shot at this. I've been thinking a lot about that kind of stuff when it comes to this podcast, and I thought, I enjoy this podcast. I enjoy being able to talk to you guys kind of free and open about anything. Let's face it, that's why I named the thing Stuff I Heard, because that way I could just talk about anything. I can talk about anything. How many people can say that? How many people have enough stuff they want to talk about that, can articulate the ideas they have in their head and have people chime in and tune in and have opinions and back and forth and say, you're right, that's some stuff I was thinking, and why doesn't that happen, and why can't we do this, and yeah, let's take action, let's do this, let's be a part of something. All of those things that culminate into an idea of this podcast. I want to keep going, and I want to grow this, and I want to have a different way of doing it than I'm doing now. This is a great beginning. This is every step of this has been a teaching tool. The fact that I have this microphone on an articulating arm is just the coolest. And I just figured out how to make my cables reach to where I want them to reach so I can be anywhere in here and be comfortable. The next step, well, what I see as the next step, I got to figure out how to plug in multiple microphones at the same time so that I can have somebody sitting across the room and we can have a back and forth comfortably and it still work for the podcast. Or how do I do that and also get you guys on video? Because I'm still trying to have this on YouTube. That way if people enjoy the YouTube part of it, they can tune in. I'm also trying to put in content in the YouTube part so that people want to tune into the YouTube part just to watch it. Because, you got to do something. You got to make something. I'm thinking on the creative side. And I'm like, what could I create that I'm not doing now? And if you're listening to this and you have some input, please reach out to me. StuffIHeardPodcast@gmail.com. Let me know. If you're on the YouTube page, write me on the YouTube page. Say, hey Josh, what about this? Have you thought about this? Hey, chime in, let me know. Today is sort of a memorable day. Today is December 19th. Today is the day that I joined the Marine Corps back in 1994. Today is also the day that I was officially out of the Marine Corps in 1998. So 20 years ago today, I was getting out officially. 24 years ago today, I was on a bus getting ready to step onto the yellow footprints for the first time. And oh, what a journey it has been. So, listen guys, I'm going to wrap this up, mainly because I'm running out of stuff to talk about. I've got 1,000 things in the air that I'm doing right now, and you guys only see this part of it, which is really awesome, and I really appreciate it. But I got to go do some of these other things before all these other balls drop from the air, and then I'm left with balls all over me. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Never mind. Why you gotta make it weird? I was totally fine with just telling you I had stuff to do, and then you made it weird. Anyway, y'all take care. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to rate, subscribe, share with your friends, and be a part of this. Participate. Let me know what's going on. If I don't get to talk to you before then, have a Merry Christmas. Bye now.